Have you ever felt invisible? Overlooked? Like no matter how much you give, your worth goes unnoticed. It's frustrating, isn't it? Giving your all, only to feel like your value is being disregarded, like you're a shadow in someone else's spotlight. But let me ask you something. What if you stopped chasing their validation? What if, instead, you focused entirely on elevating yourself, your energy, your purpose, your value, to a level so undeniable that they couldn't ignore you even if they tried? The truth is, respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command by how you carry yourself, by the life you build, and by the standards you set. The Stoics taught us this. Value begins within. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest minds of Stoicism, said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you believe in your worth and act accordingly, the world will respond. So today, we're diving into 10 powerful strategies that will make them value you. Not through words, not through pleading, but through action and transformation. These strategies are rooted in Stoicism and modern psychology, and are designed to help you reclaim your power, sharpen your focus, and elevate your life. But before we dive in, here's a challenge for you. Pause for a moment and reflect. Are you living in a way that demands respect? Or are you still chasing it, hoping for crumbs of recognition? Because this moment, right here, is where everything can change. And if this resonates with you, and if you're ready to take that first step toward becoming undeniable, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it. Let's grow the Victory Stoic community together, and help others realize their worth, just like you're about to. Now let's begin. Because it's time to stop asking for value. It's time to create it. Number 1. Use silence as a weapon. Silence is power. It's the unseen force that speaks louder than words ever could. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Silence is a lesson in itself." And he was right. In a world where everyone rushes to explain, defend, and justify, silence becomes a rare and commanding presence. It's not just the absence of words. It's the presence of control. When you feel overlooked or disrespected, the instinct might be to shout louder, to explain yourself, to chase acknowledgement. But here's the harsh truth. The more you try to convince someone of your worth, the less valuable you appear. Chasing their approval only reinforces the idea that you need it. And you don't. Instead, step back. Stop talking. Stop explaining. Let the silence stretch. It will do the work for you. Your absence creates a void that forces them to confront what they've lost. It leaves them with unanswered questions, unsettled thoughts, and an uneasy curiosity. Why did they stop trying? Why don't they care anymore? Did I take them for granted? Silence shifts the power dynamic in your favor. Suddenly, you're no longer the one seeking validation. You're the one in control, the one setting the terms. When you withdraw into silence, two things happen. They're forced to reflect. Without your presence, they begin to realize the weight of your absence. They start to see you differently. Someone who doesn't chase, who doesn't cling, is someone worth noticing. It's the same reason we value rare art, priceless artifacts, and limited edition anything. What's scarce is valuable. Your silence transforms you into a rarity. How to practice this power? Don't react. When someone disrespects you, resist the urge to argue or defend yourself. Instead, remain calm. Let your silence speak for itself, and remove yourself from the situation. Withdraw strategically. Silence doesn't mean ignoring forever. It means retreating with purpose. Use the time to focus on yourself, not on their opinions. Let boundaries speak. When they reach out or try to provoke a response, maintain your composure. Your calm refusal to engage sends a louder message than any argument ever could. Think of the great warriors in battle. The strongest fighters are not the ones who yell or thrash. They are the ones who remain calm, poised, and deliberate. Silence is the mental equivalent of that strength. It's the armor that protects you from their attempts to diminish your worth. In silence, you remind the world, and yourself, that your value isn't up for debate. You're not there to explain or prove. You're there to be. And in that stillness, they'll start to realize what they've lost. Because nothing commands respect more than someone who knows when to speak and, more importantly, when to stay silent. Number 2. Build your value through action. Actions speak louder than words. You've heard that 1,000 times, but let me ask you this. How often do you live by it? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, put it perfectly. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Here's the truth. In this world, people don't respect what you say you're going to do. They respect what you've already done. You don't need to convince anyone of your value with long speeches or explanations. You need to show them, through action, through results, through the undeniable proof of your growth and success. When you commit to building your value, you're not just working for recognition, you're working for transformation. You're creating a version of yourself that commands respect without uttering a single word. Imagine walking into a room and having people notice you, not because of how loudly you speak, but because of the energy and achievement you carry with you. That's the power of action. Here's what happens when you focus on action. Your results speak for themselves. Whether it's a project at work, your fitness transformation, or a new skill you've mastered, people can't argue with visible results. You shift the narrative. No longer are you the person trying to prove something. You're the person living it. Respect becomes a natural byproduct. When people see what you built, their perception of you changes. They stop questioning your worth because your actions make it clear. How to start building your value. Set clear goals. What do you want to achieve? Is it professional success, better health, or mastering a skill? Pick one area to focus on and pour your energy into it. Work silently, succeed loudly. Don't announce your every move. Keep your efforts private and let the results do the talking. Prioritize consistency. Greatness isn't built in a day. It's built in the quiet repetition of small, deliberate actions. Think about someone at work who always brags about their skills, but rarely delivers. Now, compare them to the person who consistently exceeds expectations without needing to remind everyone of their efforts. Who gets the promotion? Who earns the respect? It's always the one who lets their results shine brighter than their words. This strategy is about becoming undeniable. You don't have to scream your worth to the world when your achievements say it all. It's about creating such a strong foundation for yourself that no one can overlook you. So stop worrying about their opinions. Stop explaining. Stop seeking approval. Instead, pour your energy into becoming the kind of person you admire. Build the life you want, not because they're watching, but because you refuse to settle for mediocrity. And when they see the results, they'll value you, not because you begged for it, but because you became someone impossible to ignore. Now, what's your first step? Choose it, commit to it, and let your actions define your legacy. Number 3. Mastering the art of saying no. Let me tell you a story that might feel familiar. There was a woman named Anna. She was the kind of person who said yes to everything. Need someone to cover your shift at work? Call Anna. Need help planning a party last minute? Anna's got you. Need someone to run an errand you forgot? Anna will drop everything. She thought saying yes to everyone made her kind, dependable, and valuable. But in reality, people began to take her for granted. She started noticing something. No one asked if she had the time or energy to help. No one wondered how she was managing to juggle everything. And worse, when Anna needed help, she found herself standing alone. One day, after a particularly exhausting week of doing favors for everyone but herself, Anna came across a line from Marcus Aurelius. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, Do not say it. It struck her like lightning. She realized that constantly saying yes to things that didn't align with her values or priorities wasn't kindness. It was self-neglect. The word no isn't just a rejection. It's a boundary. It's a statement of self-respect. When you say no confidently, you're telling the world, I value my time, my energy, and my well-being too much to compromise for things that don't matter to me. Saying yes to everything might make you temporarily popular, but it diminishes your value. People start to expect your compliance. But when you say no, something incredible happens. They respect you more. Why? Because you're showing them that your time isn't free, that your energy isn't infinite, and that your priorities come first. Anna decided to try something new. The next time her coworker asked her to stay late to finish a task they had procrastinated on, Anna smiled politely and said, I can't tonight. I have other commitments. At first, her coworker looked surprised, even a little offended. But Anna didn't waver. And something surprising happened. Over the next few weeks, people started asking Anna for fewer favors. When they did ask, they approached her with more respect, recognizing that her time wasn't something to be taken lightly. How to master no, like a Stoic. Be polite but firm. Saying no doesn't mean being rude. Use phrases like, I appreciate the offer, but I can't commit to this right now. Remember your priorities. If a request conflicts with your goals or values, it's a sign to decline. Let go of guilt. Saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you say no, you're teaching people how to treat you. You're showing them that your time is valuable, that your energy has limits, and that you prioritize what matters most. Over time, they'll approach you with more thoughtfulness and less expectation. Anna's story isn't unique. It's the story of anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed by obligations they didn't want to take on. But here's the truth. The ability to say no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's not just about setting boundaries. It's about showing yourself and others that your life, your goals, and your energy are worth protecting. So the next time someone asks you to stretch yourself too thin, remember Anna, remember Marcus Aurelius, and remember this. If it is not right, do not do it. Say no, and watch how your value begins to rise. Number 4. Walk away when disrespected. There's a quiet power in walking away. No drama. No arguments. No explanations. Just the firm, decisive action of removing yourself from a situation or a relationship where your worth is not being recognized. This isn't weakness, it's strength. It's a declaration to the world and yourself that you refuse to tolerate anything less than respect. Respect cannot be begged for. It cannot be demanded through words or endless explanations. True respect is earned, and when it's not given, the most powerful thing you can do is leave. Why? Because your absence speaks louder than any argument ever could. When someone disrespects you and you stay, you unintentionally validate their behavior. You teach them that it's acceptable to treat you that way. But when you walk away, you shift the power dynamic. You force them to confront the void you leave behind, to sit with the realization that they've lost access to your presence, your energy, your support. Why walking away is so effective? It forces reflection. When you remove yourself, they are left with their thoughts. They begin to question their actions and wonder why they left. It commands respect. Walking away without a scene shows self-respect and confidence. You're telling them that you won't waste your time on someone who doesn't value you. It protects your energy. Staying in toxic situations drains you. Walking away allows you to focus on growth and positivity instead. Imagine you're in a meeting at work, and a colleague dismisses your ideas, repeatedly interrupting you or belittling your contributions. Instead of arguing or trying to prove your worth, you calmly say, "It seems like this isn't the right time to continue this conversation." And you leave the room. The silence you leave behind will be deafening. Your absence forces them to recognize that their behavior crossed a line. Or think of a personal relationship where you're constantly undervalued. Instead of explaining yourself again and again, you take a step back. You stop answering the calls and stop showing up for someone who doesn't appreciate you. Suddenly, they're left wondering, why did they leave? Was it something I did? This moment of self-reflection is something they could never reach while you were still there, trying to convince them of your worth. How to practice walking away. Know your boundaries. Understand what respect looks like to you. If someone crosses the line, you'll recognize it immediately. Be calm and firm. Walking away isn't about creating drama. It's about reclaiming your dignity. Don't look back. Once you've walked away, focus on yourself. Resist the urge to chase validation from those who didn't respect you in the first place. Walking away doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've chosen yourself. It's not about punishing the other person. It's about protecting your self-worth. By stepping away, you demonstrate that your value isn't up for debate, and you refuse to settle for anything less than mutual respect. Remember, walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's a statement of independence, strength, and confidence. You're not there to fight for their approval. You're there to live your life with dignity and purpose. And when do you leave? That's when they'll begin to realize just how much your presence means. But by then, you'll already be moving forward, leaving their disrespect behind, and stepping into a future where your worth is no longer in question. Number 5. Elevate your appearance and energy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. How do you present yourself to the world? When you step out the door each morning, does your presence command respect? Or does it blend into the background? Because here's the truth, hard as it may be to hear, people value what looks valuable. And no, this isn't about vanity. It's about self-respect, self-investment, and the energy you carry into every space you enter. You see, psychology tells us that humans are wired to notice quality. Whether it's the way someone carries themselves, the care they put into their appearance, or the quiet confidence in their eyes, these things speak volumes long before you ever say a word. Marcus Aurelius might not have worn designer suits, but he understood this principle well. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. So let's break this down. If you want the world to treat you like someone of value, start by presenting yourself as someone who values themselves. Your appearance isn't just about clothes or grooming. It's a reflection of how much you respect yourself. And your energy? It's the invisible force that people feel before you even say hello. When you walk into a room with intention, vitality, with purpose, people notice. They can't help but notice. Imagine meeting two people. One is well-dressed, standing tall, and exuding warmth and confidence. The other is disheveled, hunched over, avoiding eye contact. Who would you take more seriously? Who would you want to connect with? This isn't about judgment. It's about the signals we send to the world through how we show up. How to elevate yourself. Invest in your physical presence. Take care of your body. This doesn't mean chasing impossible standards, but it does mean prioritizing your health. Exercise not just for looks, but for strength and vitality. Eat well, hydrate, and rest. A healthy body radiates energy that can't be faked. Dress with intention. You don't need expensive clothes. You need thoughtful clothes. Wear what makes you feel confident, powerful, and ready to conquer the day. Nurture your emotional energy. Your energy is contagious. If you're walking around drained, stressed, or scattered, people will feel it. Take time to recharge. Practice gratitude. Meditate. Do the inner work so your outer presence reflects balance and clarity. Feed your mind. A sharp mind is magnetic. Read, learn, and grow. When your knowledge and wisdom shine, they add another layer of allure to your physical and emotional presence. Here's the beauty of this strategy. It doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. When you take the time to care for your appearance and energy, you start walking taller. You start speaking with more authority. You start believing, deep down, that you're worth every ounce of respect you demand. And that belief? That's what makes you unstoppable. It's what makes people sit up and pay attention when you walk into the room. It's what makes them feel your presence long after you've left. You are the message you send to the world. So send one that says, I am here. I am worthy. I am someone you can't overlook. Elevate your appearance, sharpen your energy, and watch as the world begins to treat you the way you've always deserved. Because when you value yourself, others have no choice but to do the same. Number 6. Stop giving too much. There's a quiet tragedy in giving too much. It begins with good intentions, a desire to help, to be kind, to show love without restraint. You give your time, your energy, and your care, and at first, it feels fulfilling. But over time, something shifts. The more you give, the more it seems to be taken for granted. And slowly, the realization dawns. The value of what you offer diminishes when it's given without limits. It's not that your kindness isn't appreciated, it's that people begin to expect it. Like sunlight on a warm day, it's comforting, but often unnoticed until it's gone. The harsh truth: when you pour too much of yourself into others without reserve, you risk losing the respect that comes from being truly valued. Imagine a quiet, serene fountain in the heart of a garden. Its water flows steadily, feeding the flowers and offering refreshment to those who pass by. Now imagine if the fountain began to overflow, spilling everywhere, drowning the garden. What once brought life now overwhelms it. This is what happens when you give without boundaries. Your kindness, once treasured, becomes overlooked. Your generosity, once admired, becomes assumed. But what if you chose to hold some of that water back? What if you let the garden thrive without flooding it, allowing others to see the fountain for the precious source it is? Why giving less makes you more valuable? Scarcity increases value. What is rare is cherished. When you set limits on your time and energy, people begin to appreciate the moments you share. Boundaries command respect. Saying no or stepping back isn't selfish, it's self-preserving. It teaches others to respect your limits and not take you for granted. Space for mutual effort. When you stop overgiving, you create space for others to step up. Relationships become balanced, built on mutual effort rather than one-sided sacrifice. The art of giving selectively. That. Choose where you invest. Not everyone deserves your unlimited kindness. Focus on people and situations that reciprocate, that nurture you in return. Say no with grace. A simple, I can't right now, but I appreciate you asking, can protect your boundaries without guilt. Value your own time. Your time and energy are finite. Use them on what aligns with your goals and values, not what drains you. When you stop giving too much, you don't lose your kindness, you refine it. You start giving from a place of abundance rather than depletion. You learn to hold space for yourself, to recharge, to become the fountain that flows steadily without ever running dry. And those around you? They'll notice the change. The moments you choose to give will feel more intentional and more meaningful. They'll work harder to earn your attention, knowing that it's no longer something freely offered without thought. Your love, your energy, your time, they become treasures, not assumptions. So, stop giving too much. Not because you're tired of giving, but because you're ready to give better. In that balance, you'll find not just your value, but a deeper connection to those who truly see you for what you are, a source of light, not to be drained, but to be cherished. Number 7, develop emotional independence. Let me tell you a story, a funny one, but also a little too relatable. There was a guy named Dan. Dan was the king of texting. He'd send a message to his friends, his crush, his coworkers, anyone, and then wait. He wasn't waiting casually though. Oh no, Dan became a human refresh button, checking his phone every 5 seconds. Have they seen it? Why aren't they replying? Did I say something wrong? By the time he finally got a response, he was either over the moon or ready to sink into despair, depending on the tone of their reply. Dan's entire mood was at the mercy of tiny digital notifications. It wasn't just his phone, it was everything. A compliment from his boss could make his day, but a single offhand comment could ruin it. Dan was living like a puppet, with his emotional strings being pulled by everyone but himself. Sound familiar? Here's the thing, when your happiness, confidence, or sense of worth depends on how others respond to you, you give away all your power. You become like Dan, living in a constant state of reaction. But Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, had a powerful reminder for us. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The truth is, emotional independence doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop needing their approval to feel whole. It's about being your source of strength, so whether they reply to your text or not, your world stays intact. How to build emotional independence. Shift your focus inward. Instead of obsessing over what others think, ask yourself, what do I think of myself? The only opinion that truly matters is the one you carry with you every day. Practice meditation or journaling. These aren't just buzzwords. They're tools for building inner strength. Meditation teaches you to sit with your emotions without letting them control you. Journaling helps you process your thoughts and gain clarity. Imagine Dan taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply instead of spiraling into text anxiety. Game changer, right? Celebrate your wins, big and small. Did you hit a personal goal? Celebrate it, even if no one notices. Did you handle a tough situation calmly? Acknowledge that. Stop waiting for others to clap for you. Be your cheerleader. Here's the funny thing about Dan. The moment he stopped caring so much about those replies, when he started focusing on his work, his hobbies, and himself, people noticed. His boss started respecting his calm demeanor under pressure. His friends reached out more because they'd missed his energy. Even his crush started texting first. Why? Because emotional independence is magnetic. It says, I'm not here to chase you, I'm here to live my life. Be like Dan, who learned the Stoic way. Develop your emotional independence. Because when you stop letting others control your happiness, 2 things happen. You find a peace that no one can take away. Ironically, people start valuing you more, drawn to the quiet confidence that comes from within. So next time you're tempted to refresh your inbox for the 100th time, remember this. The person who truly needs to validate you is you. Number 8. Keep a part of yourself mysterious. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt truly captivated by someone? Chances are, it wasn't because they shared every thought, every detail, or every moment of their life with you. No, it was probably the opposite. The people who intrigue us the most are often the ones who leave us with questions, the ones who reveal just enough to draw us closer but never so much that we feel there's nothing left to discover. Psychologists call this the curiosity gap. Human beings are hardwired to be fascinated by what they don't fully understand. Mystery creates allure. And yet, in today's world of oversharing, mystery is becoming a lost art. When you keep a part of yourself hidden, you're not being deceptive, you're being intentional. You're inviting people to lean in, to ask questions, to wonder. It's a dance of intrigue, a way of saying, there's more to me than meets the eye. But let's be real. Most of us are tempted to overshare. We want to explain our decisions, post every milestone, and tell everyone exactly what we're thinking. Why? Because we're desperate for connection, for validation, for someone to say, "I get you." Here's the hard truth. The more you reveal, the less people feel compelled to explore. When everything about you is laid bare, there's no mystery left. And without mystery, there's no intrigue. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, you meet someone at a party. Within 10 minutes, they've told you their life story, their favorite TV shows, their childhood traumas, and their plans for the next 5 years. It's interesting at first, but by the end, you feel like there's nothing more to learn about them. In the second scenario, you meet someone who shares just enough to pique your curiosity. They mention a recent trip, but not all the details. They talk about a passion project, but leave out the conclusion. There's something about them, something just out of reach, that makes you want to keep talking, to know more. That's the magic of mystery. How to cultivate mystery in your life. Limit social media oversharing. You don't need to post every meal, every thought, or every moment. Instead, share selectively. Let people wonder about the parts you don't reveal. Avoid over-explaining. When you make a decision, you don't owe everyone a detailed explanation. A simple, "This feels right for me," is often enough. Be comfortable with silence. You don't have to fill every conversation with words. Let there be pauses. Let others work to uncover what you think or feel. Think of yourself as a novel. If you give away the ending in the first chapter, there's no reason to keep reading. But if each page reveals just a little more, just enough to keep the reader hooked, they'll stay with you until the very end. Keeping a part of yourself mysterious isn't about playing games. It's about protecting your depth. It's about showing the world that you are multidimensional, that there's more to you than meets the eye, and that anyone who wants to know you fully will have to earn the privilege. When you embrace mystery, you elevate your presence. You become the person people can't stop thinking about, not because you're loud or attention-seeking, but because you've left them wanting more. So, hold a little back. Let them wonder. Let them chase. Because the most fascinating people are the ones who know how to keep just a little part of themselves hidden. Number 9. Surround yourself with high-value people. Alright, let's talk about your squad. Your crew. The people you text, call, or grab coffee with. Here's the deal. If you're spending your time with people who complain more than they act, gossip more than they grow, or nap through life while you're trying to hustle, then guess what? You're not leveling up. You're staying stuck. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Translation? If you're hanging out with 5 unmotivated couch potatoes, congratulations, you just became the 6th. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you ditch your friends because they binge watch bad TV shows. But it does mean taking a good, hard look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Because here's a secret. If you want to level up, you need to surround yourself with people who operate at a higher frequency. Picture this. You've been hitting the gym for a month, feeling great. Then your friends say, "Come on, one burger won't hurt." Before you know it, you're skipping workouts and swimming in fries. On the flip side, imagine having friends who say, "Let's go for a run and grab smoothies after." Now you're not just motivated, you're unstoppable. High-value people are like a great Wi-Fi signal. They elevate everything. They inspire you to think bigger, act smarter, and work harder. And the best part, their energy is contagious. How to find high-value people. Spot the hustlers. Look for people who are building something, whether it's their career, their health, or their personal growth. These are the ones who make you want to get up at 5 a.m., even though you really don't want to. Find the real talkers. High-value people don't sugarcoat. They'll tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Like the friend who says, "Maybe it's time to stop procrastinating on that project," instead of, "You're doing great, sweetie." Avoid the energy vampires. You know them. The ones who turn every conversation into a pity party. The ones who drain your energy faster than a dead phone battery. Limit your time with these people. Your mental health will thank you. Be high-value yourself. Here's the twist. If you want to attract high-value people, you have to become one. Start working on yourself. Read more, learn more, and do more. People who strive for greatness love hanging out with others who do the same. When you start spending time with people who challenge you, something magical happens. You stop settling for good enough and start aiming for great. You stop procrastinating and start progressing. And yes, you might also stop binge watching that questionable reality show, but that's probably for the best. Your squad is either your ladder or your anchor. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who push you to grow, laugh with you when you stumble, and celebrate with you when you win. And if your current circle doesn't fit the bill, well, it's time to expand the guest list. Because you deserve a team that matches your ambition, and together, you'll be unstoppable. Number 10. Choose the high road. Sometimes, life isn't fair. People misunderstand you, disrespect you, even try to bring you down. The natural reaction? Anger. Revenge. Proving a point. But Marcus Aurelius, the wise Stoic emperor, reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Choosing the high road isn't about weakness or avoiding conflict. It's about strength. It's about saying, I refuse to let someone else's negativity dictate my actions or define who I am. When you choose dignity over retaliation, you rise above the chaos, and in doing so, you find peace within yourself. Imagine this. You're at work, and a colleague unfairly criticizes your idea in front of everyone. Your first instinct might be to snap back, to cut them down with a sharp remark. But instead you pause. You acknowledge their opinion calmly, thank them for their feedback, and move on with grace. What happens? You diffuse the tension, maintain your composure, and, most importantly, show everyone in the room that you're operating on a higher level. That's the power of restraint. By choosing not to fight fire with fire, you shine brighter than any words of retaliation ever could. Why the high road is always worth it. It protects your energy. Retaliation is exhausting. It pulls you into a cycle of negativity that leaves you drained. When you walk away or respond with grace, you save your energy for things that truly matter. It elevates your character. By refusing to stoop to someone else's level, you reinforce your integrity. You become the person others admire, even in conflict. It leaves a lasting impression. People may forget the words you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Choosing the high road leaves behind a legacy of respect and strength. Practical steps to take the high road. Pause before reacting. When emotions flare, take a moment to breathe. Count to 5 if you need to. A calm response is always more powerful than an impulsive one. Shift your perspective. Remind yourself that their behavior reflects on them, not on you. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace of mind? Focus on your goals. Don't let distractions pull you away from your purpose. Remember, success is the best way to silence critics. Choosing the high road isn't just about how others perceive you. It's about healing yourself. Holding on to anger or resentment only weighs you down. When you let go, when you decide not to retaliate, you free yourself from that burden. You're no longer tied to their actions. You're moving forward, lighter and stronger. There's a quiet power in refusing to engage with negativity. It's not about letting people walk over you. It's about showing that their behavior doesn't define yours. You're better than that. So, the next time someone tries to tear you down, remember this. The high road isn't the easiest path, but it's the one that leads to true freedom and respect. And in choosing it, you prove to yourself and the world that your worth isn't something to be debated. It's something you carry with quiet, unshakable strength. Conclusion. Let me leave you with this. Your value is not something you beg others to see. It's something you build, embody, and radiate through every action you take. When you focus on growth, resilience, and self-respect, the world has no choice but to notice. They will see it. They will feel it. And yes, they will come to value you, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. Now I ask you, which of these strategies will you start applying today? Will you master silence, set boundaries, or walk the high road? Share your journey in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. And if this message resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear these words. Together, we can grow the Victory Stoic community and inspire others to discover their true worth. Finally, remember this. Respect and value begin with how you treat yourself. Act as if you are the most valuable person in the room, because you are. When you carry yourself with confidence, grace, and purpose, the world will see your worth. And soon enough, they won't just notice. You'll find them drawn to you, wishing they'd recognized your brilliance sooner.